All right, welcome back, folks, to round 4 of the World Scrabble Championship from Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States. Once again, I am Matt Canik, joined by Mina Lay, and we're going to be
Hello.
featuring a matchup between Vannitha Balasingam of Malaysia and Dan Sandu of Romania. Mina, what are you looking forward to from this game and the rest of day one at this tournament?
Just seeing more great Scrabble. I think it's really fun to see all these different countries showcased. Um, like I said, when I switched to Collins, I was hoping to travel at some point, and family expanding my family is going to put that off in the distance. But I do look forward to meeting people from around the world at some point, and getting to play a lot of these people on their home turf. But for now, it's so awesome to welcome people from 29 different countries to the United States for this incredible showcase of World Scrabble.
Yeah, super exciting stuff. I'm thrilled that we get to see players from all around the globe, and I'm sure players are thrilled they get to have a lot of fun in Las Vegas, Nevada. Although, for those who missed the weather report earlier, it is about 120 degrees Fahrenheit or
Scary.
47 degrees Celsius in Las Vegas. I'm not there right now, but I have been to Vegas in the summer. And if you have ever opened an oven and just felt that wave of dry heat cooking your chicken hit you in the eyeballs, that is exactly what it feels like when you open the doors in Vegas. It is hot, 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 as is some of the Scrabble action. And so,
Indeed.
Dan, to play first in this game, Dan representing Romania, EFGHIT, and an A on his rack. So he'll be able to score fairly well out of this first turn. He has the word fight,
Right.
FIGHT, scoring 32. Or if he'd prefer to get rid of additional vowels, thief or faith also play. He may also consider keeping things tight with the play like fig or jiff, holding the nice bingo prone AEHT, though Dan has already arranged fight on his rack.
I like fight here. I think that often you don't want to keep two vowels, but I think you score so much better with fight, and then you put consonant floaters on the board that you can then use your vowels through later.
Yeah, I think this is a good play for Dan. And Dan, no slouch over the Scrabble board, about a 15 to 1600 rated player, and Vanitha an 1800 rated player herself. So we'll see a good game here, folks. Dan
Plus
opening with fight, lots of
extensions.
points.
Fun extensions become possible. Dog fight, cat fight. What else is available as a front
Probably
extension there?
outfight would be my guess. Outfight valid as well. Yeah, dog fight, cat fight, outfight. Give us some more.
Yeah, tell us
Give
more in
us
the
some
chat.
more. Yeah, absolutely. So Vanitha now to respond. She's got a great balanced first rec, AEEPRRT. And Dan's play of fight is going to give her a number of playable bingos, including a whopper for 83 points down to the T in fight. Again, I'm going to call out the plays early. So if you're looking to solve puzzles, you can mute me. Or if you're watching this after the fact, you can hit pause and try to solve these puzzles yourself. But pre-treat the 83 pointer down to the T in fight. She's also got other options, a Threeper and Pargetter play for 66 and 65. And the fun extension pre-fight holds the nice AERT and
Ooh.
scores
Oh,
51.
pre-fight is beautiful. Yes, I think that would be amazing to be able to score that much. Maybe net 5 points for the challenge and keep AERT, one of the very strongest four-letter leaves out there. That would be terrific to see pre-fight come down. Plus, it doesn't take an S, so it's defensive. It kills the S lane.
So she has seen a bingo. It looks like Pargetter is coming down for Vanitha, 65 points. And she'll jump out ahead on stream against Dan, who holds AAEGHOR. Dan already set up the nice six-letter word Garao, GHERAO. He will not be able to play that on this board except through the second R in Pargeter. That'll be a nice 22 points and keep a good balanced AR leave for him. But perhaps a better option, HOA, HAO alongside the left of Pargeter. Is Dan's going to challenge the play, so they'll look up this word. And because it's going to come back acceptable, Vannitha going to score an additional 5 points, 70 points now on the play for Vannitha, and she's now up 32-70. So if I'm Dan, I like that decision. If I'm even remotely uncertain of this word, if this is valid, it almost certainly takes an S. I've got to know. I've got to know. So I'm happy to give up 5 points now to know if I can hook an S on this word in the future.
Got someone saying in the chat that Vannitha beat Jessie Day in round 2.
Wow, Jesse Day, a very solid player. He just moved to my hometown of Austin, Texas, and has just laid down the hammer on me and everybody else in that city. Very talented. So a big win for Vannitha. Wow. All right, so AAEGHOR. Does Dan play a little bit shorter, make a play like HOA or HAO for 24? Or does he play a little bit longer, play the cool word of Garau and open the board up? If he does play Garau, where does he play it? Through which tile? He's also got a high-scoring AARGH through that second R in Pargeter for 26 points. So lots of good options for him. What would you be looking to do in this situation, Mina?
I guess I'd be thinking of putting the H next to the second E in Pargeter and then finding something that goes down from there.
I think Dan thinking along those lines.
It looks like it looks like he's looking exactly where I was looking.
Yep. HAO going to score the nice bingo prone AEGR. An N would be a great pull for him. S would be superb for him as we turn back to Vannitha, CEINOTY on her rack as a post bingo draw. And while she won't bingo again this turn, that play of HAO is going to give her some great overlapping opportunities. CHE valid. So COY plays alongside that. CHE, OAR, and YO is a whopping 35 points with a stellar EINT leave. That looks like a great play, but
that's standout to me.
She could also play a little bit longer and score significantly more points. Coney in the same spot gets the Y on that double letter score, will score 44 holding IT, and also a nice 5 CYTON playing, making YAR, also 44 points for her. So Coy 25 or 35 and a great lead, or Coney 9 more points, but blow up the rack and give opportunities to the opponent. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think I know we were saying take the points was a good heuristic, but I think here EINT is so strong. It plays so well with A and with P, which we have as floaters up above. I really like keeping EINT intact here. But it looks like Vannitha wants to play long.
I think I'm most partial to the play of Coy. I don't like getting caught up fishing, but I do like the defense that play allows.
Yeah,
and with the floating P, the floating A, the floating T, I like that quite a bit. Is what I'm reading in chat correct? It looks like David Eldar won a game by
I can't believe what I'm reading. I'm trying to somehow find this.
Looks to be correct. It's a data entry mistake. Wow, rather impressive for
that's
a reigning world champion.
Got to be a record. I wonder what the record is for margin.
My record, I know I've won one game by 395 points. Just one of those games where everything goes right. So Vannitha playing a little bit aggressively here. Saiton showing off a good knowledge of the fives and 41 points. That EI leave may be some trouble, but we'll see what she's able to draw. And Dan, AEGORUY. So not going to be able to punish the spot too hard, but with that YU combo, you're always excited if you're able to play it off. Looks like another challenge on the play. I imagine just a challenge on the 5, CYTON. So an additional nickel picked up for Vannitha. That'll make it 119-56. Dan will get a nice play back, young or younger, playing through the N in Saiton, a good way to undouble or to get rid of that U-Y combination at the same time.
Yes, that works out well.
Looks like Dan also looking to play perhaps YOU. He set that up on his rack, but he's got to take that N opportunity away from his opponent, I feel. So Young, very nice play by Dan. AER, good leave, and we'll see where he goes with this. This play passes back to Vannitha, BEIINRW. So that EI doesn't go super awry, 4 consonants and 1 vowel on the pull, and she'll have some decent scoring opportunities here, but nothing incredibly compelling. Webb making Chew and Yer playing for 30 points, but IINR may be some trouble. Weir, WEIR, in the same spot, or could get a little bit aggressive, try to bingo with a play like BI, BY, and IO. Do you like any of these options?
I kind of like that last one that you mentioned. I just wanted to unduplicate the eyes. I just hate the idea of keeping both eyes. That's just so often a recipe for disaster.
I agree. Duplicate eyes are never a fun time for you. Other plays also maybe wiper through the P and Pargeter, depending on what you'd like to do with this board long term, or perhaps just wipe. That'll open up the board a lot. Opportunities to overlap on top and to back hook it behind. I don't know what Vannitha looking to do here, but lots of options for her.
It seems pretty early to worry about opening things. I mean, it's already kind of an open board as it is, so I guess I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be worried about opening it more. Or I think my priority at this point would be rack management, trying to massage my lead for the next little bit.
I agree. I got to get rid of one of those I's and ideally the W as well. Those are my priorities here.
The chat found webinar through the A, which is pretty. Hangs that W too far to the left for comfort, though.
Yeah, it just doesn't score well enough. So Vannitha going to take the points here. 30 points for Webb. IINR looking to not draw a third I in this situation if you're her, but great way to score some points right now and jump ahead 149 to 83 in this game. But Dan with a big response. You see he's arranged his letters to form eagerist, and that will play down to the T in fight for 80 points, wasting no time. Although I think some Scrabble players would be more partial to beerages, although not scoring as well. Scrabblers definitely fans of beer out there. But eagerist, 80 points. Good play for Dan, and he will pull ahead 163 to 149. Vannitha picking up an additional I, so DIIIMNR. She will have good options. A yer, an adjective, does take a back R, so rind plays alongside the spot she's just created, would score 31 points. If she does want to play off both of these I's, though, two of these I's, options are rather limited. You're probably looking at a play like miring or rhyming to the G in eagerist, or if you don't care about defense at all, I middo to the O in young.
Yeah, so one of those ing plays, the G in eagerist looks good to me to get rid of miring or rhyming, to get rid of 2 I's.
I think I'm playing to the G here. To me, getting rid of 2 I's is so important to try to work back into this game. Yep. I'm a little surprised diming isn't valid. DIMING. That looks.
Oh yeah, like nickel and diming. Yeah, that's
nickeling and diming, right? We've dropped nickel in here several times already. How is that not a word? Wow.
Yeah, that's not a word.
I would lose a turn here with that play, but I'm looking to hold on to the R to hit the yer spot next turn. I prefer to play off 2 I's and not play the R. Stefan Fatsis in chat pointing out that Dan is a player featured, as Stefan reported on the World Championships in his book Word Freak. If you haven't read Word Freak yet, you really got to. It's rather dated now, written, I believe, between about 1998 and 2000. But awesome book, awesome read, awesome profile into different players and their approach to the game, how they got into it. Some very compelling stories. And again, what hooked me on this game. So give Word Freak a read if you haven't yet. Great book, and Dan featured in there extensively.
I wonder what an update would look like now that it's been 20 years.
Super cool. The players I read about and pictured in my head are now great friends of mine that I've gotten to meet over the years that I've been playing tournaments. This is a tricky turn. I think I would also spend quite a bit of time here. These turns where none of my options are great. A lot of my options are okay. And, you just continue looking like surely something will pop up, something nice, right? But, me with the machine pulling up all the candidate plays, I know that nothing super good is there, unfortunately. So, Mina, I've shared my story of how I got into competitive Scrabble, reading Word Freak and kind of approaching from there. What brought you to this game?
Yeah, so it was actually the app Scrabulous on Facebook, which has been taken down for copyright violations. But I just, so funnily enough, I was one of those strange kids who never played Scrabble growing up at all. It just never happened for whatever reason. So I first saw a Scrabble board in college, but I didn't find any sort of scene back then. So it was only on the app through Facebook that I really started getting into it. And I found myself wondering, I wonder if this game exists in any sort of in-person version, I wondered. And just randomly, I Googled, I typed something like, live Scrabble near me or something. And I just happened to, and I was very lucky at the time that I lived in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area, which is a hotbed of Scrabble. And I happened to find that there were multiple clubs in the area, multiple tournaments in the area, and that's how I got into it. And I was actually a resident at the time, and residents in medicine have very little time or energy. But during our residency, we happened to have this 6-month quieter period, which was our research rotation. And that's when I Googled and I found the clubs and tournaments, and I started playing, and I just got hooked. And I thought to myself, like, this is for me what golf or tennis is like for other people. This is a sport that I can play in and belong to my whole life, and that will always be there, even through times when I'm busier. And there's always going to be more to grow and develop my skills. And that's how I fell into it.
And kind of like Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. A lot of players, once they get to that first tournament, they make some friends. Oh, yeah, it's all downhill from there, and you just keep playing the game for the rest of your life. Dan playing AZAN, a nice quadruple overlap, but perhaps he rushed that turn a little bit. BIZ and ZA were set up by Vannitha's last play, and Azan also playing 2 spots further down, making AGZE, par, and ANE. But Dan doing a nice job of tightening up this board with the lead that he has. Maybe not a bad idea as well, as he pulls into a rack we've already seen before today. We saw nodule and its anagram lounded earlier today. Now Dan will have those words as well. But unfortunately, Dan unable to watch the stream. We'll see if he knows those words from prior study and if he'll get a line after Vannitha's next play. ABIIMSU is the rack for Vannitha, and this is also nasty. Those eyes have just been giving her trouble for several turns in a row, and that's why she's wearing glasses now. Rim shot, but I'm sorry. I will be here all tournament. Please hit that mute button if you get sick of me.
With a rack like this, I'm looking for chemistry things. The IUM suffix is there.
Yeah, yeah. IUM is an underrated suffix. I actually got to hit the 9-letter poloniums a few
Oh,
days ago. I
beautiful.
had no other playable bingos, but I saw that UM. I had an I, and bam, it came down. So always look for those IUM chemical words. Of course, I say this as a former chemistry teacher and as a guy with a doctorate in pharmacy now. But you know, there's some good ones. There's a lot of elements out there, and a lot of them that play for good points out of clunky racks. Although no elements for Vannitha out of this rack. Oh man, just no good options for her. What a bummer of a turn.
Yeah.
Perhaps she plays bum to the left side of Pargeter, UP and MA being the overlaps of 26, but yet again would
Oh,
hold two
keeping two
A's on her
eyes.
rack, or two eyes on her rack.
Yeah.
Just don't know that you want to do that.
No.
Ah, tough turn.
Yeah. There's nowhere for IAMB or anything like that.
I see the scoreboard updating as Vannitha laments this tough turn. One player now has already completed this round and jumps to 4-0. And of course, Wellington.
No surprise who.
No surprise there. Wellington, man, what a player.
He just won the Collins division at the Scrabble Players Championship a few days ago, earning himself a provisional NASPA rating of 2,400 something.
2,400.
Yeah, 2,400. He's
Oh,
alone in the 2,400 washroom.
jeez. Oh man, they're just no good options. Rubai, Rubai, from the R in Eagerist, perhaps a good way to get rid of a lot of these tiles. Biza, Baiza to the ZA. RIMU from the R is an option. I don't know. There's just not much to be done here. Yuck.
Yeah, maybe RIMU or something like that and just move on. I mean, she's got 10 minutes left. Dan is over 20. Maybe just RIMU and move on. What are you going to do?
I would also spend a lot of time on this turn and then end up just being sad. Was that in? Yeah, just BI at the bottom. That makes sense. Scored some points. Try not to draw another vowel. And we'll see where we go. Dan now, DDLNOU blank on his rack. And as chat has already pointed out, one bingo available to him, and it is a 9-letter bingo through that disconnected A and E. But that's a tough spot.
That's very hard to see.
In the absence of that 9-letter nodulated play, probably just going to see dud or a similar word come down to the left side of Pargeted, UP and DA, dud or lud or loud, something. That's really the only line for these tiles to fit. And indeed, here comes lud for Dan. So that's going to score him 19 points. DNO blank is a good leave. Not many spots to play on this board, but if I'm Dan, I'm okay. Just kind of keeping things tight and waiting until I eventually draw a bingo from the D in Rind or from the R in Eagerist. AEIIMSU for Vannitha. No relief from these unbalanced racks. She may be able to get out. MIAUL looks to be a very solid option to the L she was just given.
Oh, that looks very strong. Yeah.
At 20 points, EIS about as good as you're going to do. But outside of that, very few good options again. Quackle recommending DUI for 4 or SUI for 4, which are just ridiculous plays.
Oh no.
So
I'm surprised Quackle likes those.
Right, yeah. Well, Quackle, of course, famously loves to fish. Adieu, if you're really sick of the vowels, you can say adieu to them. Play for 6 points through the D at the bottom. AMIE and EL an option as well, but Mial a standout option.
Mial,
and I think Vannitha needs to see here.
Correctly.
In Scrabble, though, you can see how one blunder or one gamble can cause just the next several turns to be painful for you. Vannitha taking a small gamble on Rind holding 2 eyes, and man, it just hasn't gotten better for her as she's just not able to slog through these racks. Scrabble, a very unforgiving game.
Yep. It was kind of like how we saw in SBC. If you once you fish and then you keep fishing again, that can really just ruin everything for you. You don't hit your fishes.
This is a tough turn. Vannitha with several tough turns in a row. My brain would be hurting. I'd be thinking about lunch.
Good point.
Here it
I've
is.
never understood.
Good.
Yeah.
Well
Good.
done. Mial, clearly the standout option here, and as she will find it, 20 points EIS, and she's looking for relief from these vowels. Will she find it? We'll find out shortly. DNOTUX blank now for Dan. Maybe a little surprised to see this board open up, but he has drawn one of the awesome extensions to fight, Outfight, available for 45.
No great I'm looking for X spots.
Yeah, really nothing else. Perhaps untax through the A in Mule. I'd be looking to address the M that was floated out. So if I don't see Outfight here, I think I play Mound from the M. Just knock out the spot, keep this board tight, hold that X, hold that blank, and wait until good stuff happens down the road. And Dan, thinking exactly like me, perhaps he's got an earpiece in listening. Just kidding. He would have played Outfight if he did. But Mound, I like this play. In the absence of noticing Outfight, 42 points pulls Dan back ahead by 20. And we have a score of 239 to 219. Dan's advantage, but Vannitha EIILORS, nice and bingo prone, and Mound is going to give her Soilier.
Oh, Soilier plays, yes.
Otherwise, with that play of Mound, she would have to make a very interesting bingo of Idolizer through the D at the bottom, ending one space short of that triple word. So I expect Vannitha, after a little bit of time, that it's a kind of tight bingo line to notice, but Soilier, high probability bingo, and will fit on this board.
Yeah, I think you've got to choose Soilier over Idolizer here. She's not down far enough to justify the crazy volatility that Idolizer would bring.
I totally agree. Soilier for 70 points will put her ahead by exactly 50, 289 to 239. Vannitha finally some relief from those vowels and gets her bingo down. ARSTVX blank now on Dan's rack, and has the rather appropriate VAX, VAX through the A in Mial. Looks clear and away the best play to me. ARST blank, an awesome leave, all but guarantees bingo draws next turn. Really tight board, so maybe those bingos won't fit. But I think you've got to play Vax here.
Yeah,
maybe he considers tax on top of Mial instead. Looks like he is going to make that play. This is 5 more points, and maybe you don't want to get caught up fishing on a board like this. So Dan going to take the points here, 35, but an opportunity to hold a great lead. I'm not sure which of these plays was right, but if he draws a bingo here, this is certainly the right decision. Grab the points now and hit a bingo would be a baller move from Dan. Vannitha, another great rack, EIINOST, that she's pulled, and she will have 2 playable bingos here through the D. Additions plays on the bottom, but there's another one, and I'll stop. I'll let the chat figure this one out, but the other bingo, the better of the 2 options.
Dan's blocking one of his tiles with his thumb. I'm trying to see.
There we go. From the R through the S, Rosiniest also fits on this board. I would not even look.
Wow.
Spot.
I would not. Yeah, I would not have seen Rosiniest. That's wow.
But that's awesome.
Yeah.
I expect to see bingos from both players next turn. At least additions, a high probability bingo, a player of Vannitha's caliber absolutely will see. And then Dan with the great rack, AELRSV blank. As I mentioned, big baller move from Dan. So we'll get bingo bango on this board at the World Scrabble Championship. Additions, 60 points. And Dan now gets to figure out what his highest scoring or most defensive option is. And he will have several, pun intended. I'll be here all day. So a number of bingos playing down to the S in additions, dropping the V on that triple letter score. Those are going to be the best options for Dan. Several does take a back S. So Severals plays for 86, as does Rivales, RIVALESS, and Revisals. And it looks like Revisal's the one coming down here. I like this by Dan. Don't waste a lot of time. If anything, a little bit of time trouble. This has to be my highest scoring option. Just put it down, get my points, and see where the game takes me. One blank unseen. Vannitha's missed it on her post bingo draw. If Dan picks it up here, that'll be a big swing in his favor. We'll see what he pulls as Vannitha FILOQPV. A very nasty post bingo draw. We'll display the unseen pool. 7 tiles are in the bag now for Vannitha. 7 more on Dan's rack give 14 total unplayed tiles. And if I see that, I know as Vannitha, I am in danger. That Jay can score a lot of points. There's a lot of bingo prone tiles left, and I have an absolute drecky rack. I don't know how Vannitha wins this game. Do you exchange QFV? Do you try to play the Q atop additions for 24 points? This is tricky for her. Just about the worst pull she could have had out of that bag. Man. A chat suggesting VIRL through the R in Revisals. We'll try to get this board turned around. There we go. A VIRL through that R would set up a spot for her to play the Q next turn and would tighten things up, take away scoring opportunities. I think that has to be her play here.
Reasonable, yeah.
But the other option, just go digging into this bag, try to pick up that blank and some other great stuff, and hope Dan eats all of these terrible tiles instead of me at the end. I think you have to play Virl over the exchange here.
Yeah, it scores too much to. Oh, and chat's pointing out she has to block Jerk in the same spot as Virl.
Yeah, jerk or joke. I mean, that's just the danger unseen to her. That J will be major points through that spot. Those bingo prone tiles will score a lot. The W could net huge plays for Dan as well. Just I'm so upset. I drew such a bad rack after bingoing with so much good stuff left in the bag.
Yeah.
So Virl is going to come down. A nice Q setup for Vannitha as well. 33 points is going to put her ahead by 22. Will she find the blank in the bag? She's got 3 out of 7 chances to pull it here as Dan, EEJKMOT.
She's got to really move. She's got under 3 minutes.
Perhaps that gives Dan good position for an end game. Vannitha's pull C, E, D. So the blank is still in the bag for Dan. If he empties here, he'll pull it for sure, but he has to be afraid that it's on Vannitha's rack. He also has to be thinking about this unseen Q right now. Will he draw it? Does Vannitha have it? Does she have a blank? Will he draw the blank? There's a lot for him to think about. And I expect to see Dan spend a long time on this turn.
Which he has the luxury of time, so this makes sense to. I'm actually impressed he has so much time left. 17 minutes almost.
I've noticed the slower my opponent plays, the faster I get to play. As I spend a lot of my time anagramming and looking for bingos on their clock. I look for candidate plays on their clock, and unless their play opens new parts of the board, something that hasn't really happened in this game very often, I already know what I'm going to do.
Right.
I think Dan looking to play jokes to the S in Revisals that will empty the bag, which could go one of 2 ways for him. If he picks up the Q after jokes, he's going to have to drop just 1 tile next turn in almost all cases, just QI on top of Virl. And if that gets blocked, QI for 11, likely going to lose the game. But what else do you do? Koji to the I and Virl just gives so many plays back. I think jokes is a play you have to make. Play jokes, hold your breath, try not to draw the Q, and see what happens. And this is going to pay off huge for Dan. As we know, the blank is in the bag. The Q is not.
The Q is not. Yes, this will very much pay off.
And Vannitha, low on time, is going to be forced to figure out an end game that she cannot win.
Ugly. Yeah, this is ugly.
You have to drop the Q, 21 points. You can't get caught up with it. AEMNTW blank, the unseen pool to Vannitha. So she also has to think about, is it possible he can bingo on me? Do I need to try to minimize point spread? Dan has to be very excited by that draw. No Q, yes blank. I know I'm going to win this game on stream. That has to feel great. And jumping up to a 3-1 record in the first session has to feel very good for the Romanian.
She has perfect knowledge, but she doesn't have enough time to take advantage of it, in my opinion. There's at least with me, there's such anxiety that sets in when I'm low on time too. It's like I can't think straight if I have less than 2 minutes left.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. But in this situation, like, you have to watch for bingos, but there's so many options with that blank. I'd just plunk the Q. You just got to plunk the Q.
Yeah, there's too much to look at. You just don't have time.
Let my opponent try to figure it out instead.
Mm-hmm.
A well-fought game for Vannitha, but many tough pulls, man. She just got caught up in those eyes and those vowels for a while. She did hit the bingo, but ended up getting double blanked at the end. Just not quite enough firepower for her. That bingo, or that post-bingo draw after addition, so brutal. And Dan doing a great job to capitalize on what he did draw to sneak this one out. Dan with a lot of options now, many ways to win this game. As Vannitha doesn't really have many threatening options. Dan just needs to look to go out in 2 in this situation, and the game is his.
Right.
Dan has a very high scoring play. WOMAN plays through the A and revisals. You don't think to burn the blank maybe on the first turn. You like to hold it for the flexibility, but woman would score 36 points. Pretty awesome. Mana plays in that same spot. MANA would score rather well, and ETW blank likely to go out next turn. I don't see a way that doesn't. While Dan thinks through this endgame, we'll give one more plug. This is the World Scrabble Championship, brought to you by WESPA in combination with NASPA from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. A scorching 47 degrees Celsius in Nevada as players fight through that. So Dan going to play Awa here. And wow, okay, Vannitha noticing POD blank C. I don't believe this is valid, but she's got to try something in this situation. Dan's going to put it on hold, maybe double count this play, make sure he can go out and win the game despite it.
Someone's saying epodic is good, and that's probably what she's confusing it with. I didn't know that one.
Put pressure on your opponent. Epodic would put Vannitha up 443 to 420, assuming we got all these challenges correct and figured out, which plays Dan did and didn't challenge. This would give Dan exactly 1 win if he does not challenge. He has to go out this turn with the 14-point re-mint. That would have him win this game by just 1, 444 to 443. So a clever, unchallengeable phony from Vannitha. If Dan challenges and it's good, he loses the game.
Wow.
I do not know if Vannitha is on hold. I'm going to try to hear from well, no, he can't talk. He's sitting right next to the player. So if he says play is on hold, that gives something away. So we'll just have to speculate from afar. Dan has spotted remint. He's going to do the math. And honestly, in this situation, I would recount the entire game. right now to make sure I'm not going to get beaten by this play, beaten on a recount.
This was some unexpected drama at the end here. I think it's quite clever what she's done. Played something that's kind of hard to challenge, plausible looking phony.
We do know that there were two phonies or two challenges in this game. Pargator was challenged. That's got to be just a +5, as it was the only word played. But on the Saiton play, I can't imagine Dan would challenge common threes such as CHE or YAR. But if he did, that changes the calculus here completely. I'd imagine, though, if I had to guess, the score is correct on our score bug, 420 to 443. And Dan will have a 1-point win after the clever phony by Vannitha.
Very clever.
After
Will
this
Anderson
game,
currently at the top of the standings. Yeah, after this game.
oh yeah, not surprising. Will Anderson undefeated, as is Wellington undefeated atop the standings. Many other 4-0s as well. Lots to shake out. After this game, we will step away for the lunch break. My understanding is that the clocks will be started after lunch at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So it'll be a quick lunch break for these players. A little more than an hour. It'll be a quick lunch break for y'all watching at home as well. For those of us watching from North America or South America, this is a nice, comfortable time. For those of us, for those of y'all tuning in from around the world, good morning or good evening, or what are you doing? Go to bed. Thank you for tuning in. In any case, we will have a lot more Scrabble. Unfortunately, always during this time slot, so maybe a little inconvenient for those of y'all around the globe. But we will be back roughly 1 hour after this game ends with more Scrabble. I don't yet have word on that matchup, but I do know we will be losing the great Mina on commentary, and I'll have a rotating crew of commentators coming here. This afternoon, I believe Siddharth Murali from Dallas, Texas, is on the mic with me.
Good stuff. Now, this is a wonderful opportunity to get to be here with you, Matt. And yeah, you guys should definitely continue to clear as much of your schedules as possible to watch this. This is learning a lot from hearing Matt analyze these games, and it's just very fun to see all these people from around the world, all these different countries coming together for Scrabble.
The reason I'm volunteering my time, 2 weeks of time to do this is A, I just graduated and I don't have a job yet, although I've signed a contract and I'll start literally the day after this tournament ends. And B, I love the game of Scrabble and I want to see Tournament Scrabble continue to grow. You can help me with that. We're going to have this coverage all day, every day for the next week. Share these links. Post these on your social media. Get more people who aren't playing this game watching this game, and perhaps they find something interesting they like. Perhaps they, wander to a club or a local tournament near you. My goal is for Scrabble to be huge by 2040, not dead by 2040, and you can help us with that. I have no monetary interest in this stream at all. This is not my channel. I just love the game of Scrabble and I want to see more people play it. So share this link around, post it on your social media, try to get more people watching this game, both right now live and after the fact watching these videos. Let's grow competitive Scrabble. Let's bring more great minds to this game.
Yeah, I'm into that. I actually met my husband through the Scrabble scene, so let that be an incentive if nothing else. Your lonely single friends can find true love.
Yeah, you can find true love over the board. You can find adventure. You can find travel. You can find mind games. I know it's been shown that studying words and learning words is good at helping fight off mental disorders, Alzheimer's disease, and so on as well. So, yeah, let's get more people playing this game. Let's grow our online presence. Let's get more streaming out there, too. For those of you at home, if you're going to go play on Woogles or play some Scrabble Go, stream it. Let's get Scrabble out there. Let's expose more people to Tournament Scrabble. I know there's a market for it. There's a lot of wordsmiths, a lot of word nerds out there, and we need to grow this game in every way we can. We've got players from 29 countries playing in this tournament. Let's get that up to 30, 40, 100 countries. You can help get Scrabble out there on the internet. I see we're short a pharmacist at work, Matt. I do not want to be a pharmacist. I could talk about this all day, but I have stepped out of the U.S. healthcare system for reasons that, if you're at all familiar with the U.S. healthcare system, you could probably understand. So I'll be beginning a job working with an educational company, editing textbooks and worksheets to make sure the science is accurate. No healthcare for me, but I wish you the best of luck with your pharmacist shortage.
Another chat topic for the thread. Tell us what tournaments you're looking forward to after this. What's next? Anything fun happening this fall or this winter that you're excited about traveling to?
Yeah, let's plug all of our tournaments. I know the big one that everybody, even international players, should consider coming to is the Crescent City Cup in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you thought Vegas was a fun city, New Orleans, oh man, also a great time. And that tournament sponsored by Kate Fukawa Connolly, Lila Crotty, Lindsay Shin, Austin Shin, a great tournament. Big Collins division as well with great prize money. And man, the food, the music, the culture in New Orleans is unparalleled. So that's one I always
such a fun city.
It's always the third weekend of January. Looks like we've got World Youth Challenges or World Youth Championships as well in December. Definitely looking forward to playing in that, or watching that rather. Lots of cool stuff out there. Lots of cool Scrabble. Talk about your favorite upcoming tournaments.
Yeah, plug your upcoming tournaments. I think someone mentioned the Continental Scrabble Championship in Bucharest that Dan Sandu here is a co-organizer for. They mentioned that that's coming up this fall.
Dan aggravating over this turn. Maybe not 100% sure remint is good. Maybe he is doing, like I suggested, recounting
the whole game. Yeah, he had time to.
Tough situation.
Nigeria's getting a shout out.
President's Cup in Nigeria. Yeah, when is that? Tell us more about that. African Youth Scrabble Championship. Nice. Cool.
Oh, Malta is always a big international event. I heard
nothing but incredible things about that Malta tournament.
Yeah, I keep hearing about
the scenery, the people.
Yeah, put some dates, maybe put some links in the chat, but spell out the URL so it doesn't get blocked.
Yeah, most URLs are blocked in chat, but spell out the details.
Spell them out. Write DOT instead of dot and see if you can get it through.
Yeah, we can Google the rest from there. Lake George, in New York State, upstate in the United States, is also a big tournament.
We like that
usually,
one.
Late October, kind of up in the mountains. You can watch the leaves change colors as fall begins to roll in. I believe that's hosted at a resort that shuts down as soon as that tournament ends. So it's a summer resort, and right as the weather turns and it gets cold, they shut it down. So you guys have full reign of the place. I've heard great things about that one too. Never made it up, as New York is very, very far from Texas, but heard good things about that. Northern Ireland Championship on the 20th and 21st of January, WESPA rated, ABSP rated as well. So lots of big tournaments around the world.
I'm going on cross tables to see if I can shout out anything else.
Okay, so Dan is going to play MENTS here, which is not a word. He's going to lose the game.
Eep.
What a swindle from Vannitha.
What? Vannitha, that was a brilliant move.
What a swindle in a game where she was dead.
Genius move.
Brilliant play of Podic.
Yeah.
Hates her opponent to try a word.
Genius level.
Too many points. Wow.
I'm impressed that this happened. Yeah, very great, Vannitha. Wow. That was a real twist, some real excitement at the end of a game. Wow.
Awesome job. Vannitha showing exactly why she's rated where she is.
Yes.
Good play.
Never give up, right, guys?
Never give up. Yeah, Vannitha now with the swing going to go out, dropping underneath in a game where she was dead. Vannitha now going to take a victory. 420 to 473. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I'm highly entertained that we streamed this one.
And heartbreak for the Romanian, but tears of joy perhaps after the swindle from the Malaysian. Great job, Vannitha.
Truly brilliant.
Wow.
Way to make up for all that bad luck and all those eyes. Wow.
We'll see if we can get the overhead mic going. See what we hear from these players.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know ramen.
I wanted to put rain.
I couldn't see anything with this one. The only thing that I saw was Regnant.
I played all like a stupid man, but because
this gave me the extra points. Yeah,
I played stupid.
Did you know Kodik?
Yeah.
You knew Kodik. Yeah. I think you played a bit too fast. This move you played a bit too fast, maybe. Like.
Yeah. I thought Ment does take some yes.
Yeah, if you know.
Ment is good.
Ment is good,
yeah. I thought it does take 2 minutes, but it doesn't.
I mean, I thought that I had actually lost this.
I'm stupid.
But you weren't sure of mine, I mean.
No, I should have won this. Yeah, I know Red, but I didn't see it.
Ah, okay. So when you were looking for the the highest score.
I thought Mance is good.
Oh, you know what? Actually, you played Mance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, even NEM is not good.
Which?
NEM.
Not good? And I was afraid of NEM.
Right. In fact, I didn't notice NEM at all, actually. I only saw this, yeah.
Only Redmond was...
I'm sure there are other things, but the only one that I saw was Redmond.
Mental, I saw mental, but
mental doesn't win.
Not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. Yeah.
But I played awfully because I opened 40.
Yeah, but that's the only one I saw.
I would have won with 1 point.
Won by 1 point. I don't know whether if you had found something here. Do you have something here? I don't know. I couldn't see anything here, but yeah. Anyway, thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to cut the overhead mic there. As you can see, Dan lamenting that end game. He sees now his option remint, winning by 1 point. It seems both players thinking Podik was valid, perhaps mixing up with Pudik. Podik looks like it could be a word pertaining to the foot, something like that. But Vannitha with the swindle, taking a gain that she was dead in. You can see everybody missing NEM. Vannitha missing it. Challenge 5. I missed it.
I missed it too.
All right, so 473, 420, a great win for the Malaysian. With that, we're going to take our coverage to lunch break. We will be back in 54 short minutes with more Scrabble action. Once again, want to give a shout out to Mina, taking some time away from her weekend to join us. Thank you so much, Mina.
Very fun being here.
With Sid Morale. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you soon. Adios.
Adios, all.